Okay, I'm glad I have you here because do you know about X, right?
Sure.
You know a lot about X. Do you know about the corporate structure there? Do you know who the
So it's
CEO is?
changing and changing and changing, right? Let's look at this
Do you
together,
know
right? So
Linda Yaccarino? Do you know who Linda Yaccarino is?
I do. She was once upon a time the head of ad sales at
Yeah.
my former employer, NBC News. That's right.
Okay, so we're going to turn. Can you guys just put up a breaking news for me on the thing? So here's the breaking news. Put up breaking news instead of hot topics. Here's the breaking news. So the breaking news, and tell me if you can talk about this if you don't feel equipped. I know a lot about it, obviously. Ex CEO, which is the former Twitter CEO, Linda Yaccarino, to step down. This is according to Axios, is reporting this. Ex CEO Linda Yaccarino said Wednesday she is stepping down from her role. Why it matters: Yaccarino was the first permanent CEO Elon Musk hired after buying the platform in 2022. Under her leadership, X has managed to maintain its dominance as a top social discourse app in the US, but its ads business still faces challenges. Yaccarino made the announcement in a post on X. Let's see if we can get her post. If you guys can find it, I don't have an X account, but if you can find it, catch up quick. Yaccarino has hired hang on, let me say Yaccarino was hired in 2023 after running NBC Universal's ad business for more than a decade. Her hiring alleviated pressure on Musk's from Tesla investors who were concerned he wasn't dedicating enough time to running his electric vehicle company. But anyways, that
Yeah.
is pretty huge news considering all of the turmoil that's been happening with X and with not necessarily SpaceX, but with Tesla, et cetera. And now this is big news.
I mean, it is. It's really big news. And so Linda Yaccarino has or had anyway, a tremendous reputation in corporate America as a salesperson. She was the absolute, best at going to somebody like Toyota and saying, you're going to buy ads, on the Olympics, and here's the price you're going to pay. I mean, she was just an absolute killer, supposedly, in that role, and was great at it. And then she left NBC Universal to become CEO of X. And it's not quite clear why. I understand that she shared some political opinions with Elon Musk, that this was a little more of an ideological fit for her. I don't know that directly, but that's what I've heard. And then she had the horrible job. I mean, we were talking a second ago about what it's like to be a 25-year-old comms person trying to apologize for Grok, right? She had the terrible job of having to go around to all these advertisers that she spent decades building a relationship with and apologizing to them when Elon Musk would, get on stage at the Deal Book Summit, as he did at one point. And when he was asked, whether he was worried about advertisers leaving because he was saying so many crazy things in public and, all this stuff, he was like, well, he basically said to the advertisers of America and the world, go fuck yourself into the mic, right? Linda Yaccarino she's sitting in the audience at that summit and had to then spend presumably the rest of that week going to each of the key advertisers and saying, he doesn't really mean that. I'm sorry about that. Whatever kind of apology she could come up with. So she had a impossible job. She got to be CEO, which is the dream of a lot of people who have come up through the world the way she has. But, that job trying to, you're not really in charge, even when you are CEO of the combined company, when you're working for Elon Musk, it turns out. And at this point, I'm sure she's just decided I can't go any further. It's clearly, just been too much, but it's a sign of something that, when she reached her breaking point, her breaking point was farther out than your average corporate leaders might have been. And the fact that she seems to have run out of runway is a sign of something.
Is it surprising? And look, I know you're a tech guy, so you know about this stuff, but I mean, is it surprising to you? And you're not a business guy, so I say you know about the tech stuff, but is it surprising to you that she is stepping down? It hasn't been that long, and she could receive lots of criticism because she was a very credible person, and in the business world and at NBC, and folks are really surprised that she took this position at X, and they thought like, hey, this may ruin her reputation, but she believed in it and she stuck it out.
Yeah. I mean, I think that when you rise to a certain level, as she had, and you're handed the opportunity to finally be CEO, then you take it, if it's if it's the right fit. And in this case, she was going to be at the center of the headlines. She was, I think, promised by Elon Musk the opportunity to sort of turn this, create this all-in-one company. It was supposed to be, X was supposed to not just, it was supposed to be AI, it's supposed to be payments, it's supposed to be this culture platform, it's going to be all these things. I'm sure, an incredible offer. She did 2 years, which in corporate world is that's your bare minimum for saying I was in the job, I did the job, so you can go on from there saying I was CEO of X for 2 years, right? That's in theory the right length of time. But the fact that she walked away, right, after having been through difficulty is not even the word. What is the right word? Humiliation in some cases, after humiliation, trying to apologize for this guy in
Tumult,
public. Yeah,
gyrations.
whatever. Yeah, exactly. Contortions, right, that she had to go through to try to just sort of hold her head up in public, with this guy being as crazy as he was, doing a Nazi salute on stage. She was having to go out there and explain to corporate sponsors why that's okay and why they should continue to do business with the company. And presumably that is affecting, that she just ran out of room. It seems to me that you couldn't do that forever. And she probably said, I've done the 2 years and now I'm going to go.
Or do you think this has anything to do with Grok, Jacob?
Well, I mean, whether it's, I just think you take your pick, right? Day to day, whether he's like starting a new, anything he does day to day must be making her crazy. But I'm sure she's not somebody that, it seems to me, would make a decision in a day. I don't think the Grok language would be the thing that would specifically push her over the edge, and that's it. I bet she planned this out, and may have even, it may even be bearing the headline a little bit to do it under the cover of what's going on with Grok at the moment, something like that. But I have to assume that this is a very, this is an extremely strategic thinker. This is someone who's done this stuff for a long time. So I can't imagine that she just said, "I've had it," and threw her papers out the window. I'm sure she was planning this for several weeks, if not months.
This is a big, huge story from Axios saying that Linda Yaccarino posted on Twitter. We had that up a little bit ago. Is resigning. She was the first permanent CEO Elon Musk hired after buying the platform in 2022 under the leadership. Yes. Kara is freaking out because she's trying to get into the thing. Under her leadership, the company did pretty well. I think it did okay under her leadership, but it was controversial. It managed to maintain dominance as a top social discourse app in the US, but its ad business still faces some challenges. They had issues. You guys know what happened with the ads when Elon Musk said, "Stand by 1 second." She says she's not seeing it. Can you please try to call her and give it to her, Nikki? Thank you. There were some issues as it relates to the ad revenue when advertisers were wondering about what Elon Musk said on stage. Remember at DealBook when there were issues about what he said, advertisers did not want their ads placed near controversial topics, near anti-Semitic topics that they believe anti-Semitics or anti-Semitic racists are bigoted. And he said to go F yourself at DealBook, remember? And they start pulling their advertising after that. And then Elon sued, saying they had to stop it because he said it was a coordinated effort, or at least X did, a coordinated effort by advertisers to try to ruin X, ruin the site formerly known as Twitter. And so big issues with that. And then Linda Yaccarino stuck it out, standing behind Elon Musk, saying that they had made a commitment and that they had the same vision, yada, yada, yada. Put up her tweet, please, because she references some of that in her tweet where she talks about what's going on. She said, "After 2 incredible years, I've decided to step down as CEO of X. When Elon Musk and I first spoke of his vision of X, I knew it would be the opportunity of a lifetime to carry out the extraordinary mission of this company. I'm immensely grateful to him for entrusting me with the responsibility of protecting free speech, turning the company around and transforming X into the everything app. I'm incredibly proud of the X team. The historic business turnaround we have accomplished together has been nothing short of remarkable. We started with a critical early work necessary to prioritize the safety of our users, especially children." And then she just goes on, yada, yada, yada. So what do you guys think about this? This is huge. This is yet another sort of gyration, another twist and turn in the X story. Of course, Elon Musk, I believe it was in 2022, Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was in 2022. He bought the site formerly known as Twitter for $44 billion. The company valuation started going down. And then after Donald Trump took over, after Elon Musk helped Donald Trump with the election, the valuation, I believe, recently has gone back up. It made a dramatic dive. And then I believe now it has gone back, the valuation of the company, to about $44 billion, which is the exact amount that Elon Musk paid for this company. But this is another twist and turn in the Elon Musk story of his businesses. And so Elon Musk, for a while, I guess I don't know if he was doing the day-to-day, the running of Twitter, or what. I'm not sure exactly what was happening here. But Tesla suffered when Elon Musk started paying attention to politics. I don't think that Twitter may have suffered. Twitter may have actually been helped by Elon Musk being involved in politics. There she is, Cara Swisher. Oh my gosh,
you got me going. I'm about to go work out.
So look, can we put this up? Let me send it to, and you can talk about it. I'm going to send what you sent to me, to my producers. You said you called this.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we talked about it a little while ago. But largely when they merged Grok with when we merged Grok with Twitter, she didn't have a job, right? Because Grok is obviously the leader in terms of valuation and everything else. And so they squeezed her. And so we were talking about, she doesn't actually, where did she go? And we had an ongoing, can anyone find her, and everything else. And so he sort of was indicating that he was going to just merge maybe even Tesla in here. And so she didn't have a place because he wasn't taking the Twitter business seriously, as they had discussed earlier, I think, which is her talent, which was advertising.
Can I say to you what you said to, can I say to the audience what you said to me?
Oh,
yeah.
What did I say?
No, you said no.
What did I say? I got to look.
We called this one the Pivot Podcast official, but it was not too hard to figure out once he merged. Well, you're right. This is true. The Hitler loving Grok with X.
Yeah. I mean, I think probably the Hitler thing wasn't great for her, but she's put up with all kinds of nonsense. So I'm not sure the Hitler thing was the problem on Grok. This is this Mecha Hitler where Grok suddenly went from woke to white supremacist, essentially. It's Mecha Hitler right there. Yeah. He was trying to tweak it because Grok's been rather liberal, actually, which is a problem for Elon. I don't, and then it went way far the other way, obviously, making all kinds of anti-Semitic remarks as it was making answers. I don't think this was the thing that sent her over the edge. I suspect it was the Trump fight, would be my guess. She's a Trump supporter. Her husband is, and people may not know that, but he really is. And I think probably she's figuring out where to go if she has a future, right, in that way. Probably being with Trump is better than being with Elon at this moment. And then this Mecha Hitler thing probably gave her cover of some level, but she didn't have a job. I mean, in the end, they really weren't going to, he's not interested in Twitter as an advertising business. Or in her reference when she was leaving, she said, oh, making it the all-in-one app. That didn't happen. All her plans, like she tried to have, I don't know, Paris Hilton on there. She had you on there. That was gone, essentially. So all the things she was trying to make it into were never going to happen under Elon Musk. Nor was he interested in it, by the way.
I'm just going to, so what do you think happened? Do you think that she said, I just can't do it? Or do you think it was mutual? Or like, what happened, Kara?
I mean, they'll be really nice. There's no benefit of her insulting him because he'll come after her. Because as you can see, he turned on Trump. So he'll turn on her if he needs to. So there's no use in picking a fight, but I suspect she didn't have a job. Like, I don't know what her job was in the wake of that merger. And that's why we said it on Pivot. We're like, she doesn't have a job now. She's not going to be the CEO of an AI company. She has no capabilities to do that. Again, very talented at what she was talented on, but she was never a CEO. She was, CINO, Sino, or whatever. She was the CEO in name only. Elon was calling the shots, as you must know. I mean, as I told you.
Yeah. Well, you talked to me about all of this. You predicted all of this before it even happened to me.
I also, may I point out, one thing I did predict was I predicted the breakup of him and Trump. And then when he did the attacks and then apologized, everyone's like, oh, he's apologized. I'm like, no, this is not over, because he has such a hair up his ass about the deficit. and a bunch of other things that he was not going to give up here. And he went right back to Epstein this week because of, I mean, a good opportunity given Pam Bondi, who the MAG is calling Blondie, which is funny. You know, he has now opportunity, but now he's going back on the Epstein thing too, that he apologized and took down. So he was never going to back down on this stuff. I just, you know, if you know him even slightly, you know, he's not willing to take the acquiescent position. So probably difficult for her. That probably has been difficult for her given her support of Donald Trump.
Okay, just real quick, what's going on with him? Is it spiraling or what?
I don't know. Some of it, some of it I agree with. I think he was 100% right about the deficit. I think he's 100% right about leaning into future industries.
Oh my gosh, Kara, I was going to say that, like, I find myself agreeing with Tucker Carlson. I find myself agreeing with Elon Musk. Yeah. I'm like, what world are we living in right now?
Well,
he was, yeah.
But that's a good thing about you. You make a point. Like, they're making a point. That said, you know, you could agree if a crazy person on the corner says something reasonable, you go, well, that makes sense, but you're still crazy, essentially. I think, you know, I think he very, like, one of the things he always talked to me about and many others was the deficit. I think he was very concerned with that. And as are many people in Silicon Valley, not just him. And the same thing around leaning into EVs and stuff like that. That was his natural state. I think he pretzeled himself for Trump and then just couldn't take it anymore. He just couldn't take it anymore, really. Yeah. And he's also got all these other problems, like mental and drug related, I think, that is pretty obvious to one and all.
I was like not doing such a great job because the breaking news came as I was in the middle of we were talking about Grok, and it just so happened to, you know, and I had Jacob Ward on, who was the tech reporter for ABC for such a long time. And we were discussing the Linda Yaccarino thing happened. Okay, so just real quickly.
Are you getting your money, Don?
You're messy.
Are you? I know, but I hope you do. You're not getting your money. I keep telling you that. It's never happened in me. You're not getting your money. The people he fired at Twitter haven't gotten their money. You're in line. Get in line, Don Lemon. Anyway, go ahead.
That's why I love you so much.
Don't spend it. That place, that beautiful villa in Sicily, I'd say no on that
one. We'll talk about that later. Let me ask you though. Now, let me ask you.
Also, Linda's not going to get her money either. Just she's behind you in the line. Just so you know.
You don't think so, huh?
No, I do not. They'll fight. They'll end up fighting because she's going to need a job. She's going to need a job. So
can she go back? This is not what I was going to ask you, but can she go back to regular?
You know, she's a very gifted ad salesperson, and even though she's distasteful to a lot of people, that's for sure, I think they'll forgive her in the ad business because she's very good at it. And she certainly has gotten a learning experience around digital that she didn't have at NBC, right? So she does sort of have more skills in the area, even if it's a traffic accident of a job that she took. But yeah, I think, you know, God, I was just thinking Paramount, like, that would be it. She's worked with Jeff Shell before, right?
Yeah, and they're looking for conservatives, I hear, right? Or
yeah, she's perfect. She fits the bill,
right?
Except for the, you know, the clapping about white supremacy, but you know, or whatever.
She's even further right though than Barry Weiss. Barry Weiss is kind of center right? I mean, Linda Yaccarino is allegedly a Trumper. You don't know.
No, right? She is. No, she is. No, I sat next to her husband in a thing, and I was sort of like, I have to leave now. You know, you know, she's conservative, absolutely, sort of the classic conservative that moved more towards Trump. That's what she was. That's what I recall. But I think she's, you know, her bread is buttered with Trump, not with Elon Musk. And Elon Musk has decided to burn all the boats, and she must have said, I'm getting on this rowboat and getting out of here. But yeah, she can get a job. She could Paramount. But the thing is, does she want to take a non-CEO job now that she's been a CEO? That's she wanted to be head of NBC, you know, obviously. And they were never going to. I mean, I told her that myself when we were speaking. When, you know, she wanted that job, and I said, they're not giving you that job. You're the ad lady. So no, you're not getting it. So,
but you wouldn't believe the number of people who Kara advises, and some of them, you know, some people that you advise people you kind of despise.
Yeah, I do.
You talk because you know how much I love Megyn Kelly, right?
Yeah.
But you even advised Megyn Kelly, who's actually
a long time ago,
a long time ago,
a previous version of Megyn Kelly.
Yes. Well, I was friends with her previously.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
same thing. I mean, I wasn't friends with her like you were, but we had a
we weren't
meeting.
close. We were
No,
friendly. Let's put
we had drinks, and she really wanted to know about the podcast business. She's done.
yeah.
Look, she's done very well with her screaming rage, but whatever. That's her little act or whatever.
Lex, I promise you it would be quick. So, what is
Okay.
was a question was Linda Yaccarino good for Twitter? I think
No.
our X is X since recovered, because if you read some of the things, they'll say, well, now the valuation is back at 44 billion, which is what he
Well,
paid for it, and
there's no risk. That's why the valuation. It's not because it's a better business. It's certainly not. It's about Threads is about to overtake Twitter, by the way. Where's she been with that? Threads is about to
really,
overtake it in size. I suspect I think, one of the thing that they were doing, they were accused of, is shaking down. And believe me, she denied it. I'm sorry, she was lying. I've talked to a dozen advertisers. There was a shakedown, advertise with us or you're going to have trouble with Trump. Well, she doesn't have that sword anymore to hang over their heads. And so that was a really interesting story. It was in the Journal or the Times about the shakedown. And so she doesn't, now people who would maybe buy just a little bit of advertising on X because they were worried about Trump stuff don't have to be worried anymore. So that was going to fall off drastically. So it would have looked really bad soon. Because if some people rejected it, some advertisers, but others just said, I'm just going to pay her 10 million and just forget about it. Just as sort of, it was a shakedown. I don't know what else to say, but she doesn't have that now. She doesn't have the Trump affiliation, so that these advertisers wouldn't get sucked up into those dumb lawsuits they were doing. They've been suing advertisers as if they're a cabal. When advertisers just decide where they want to advertise, then I don't care if they all get together at Cipriani and say this sucks, but brand safety should be the most important thing for them. And she was insisting she was making it safer, but after Hitler, no, not so much.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What advertiser would want to be affiliated with that kind of thing? Yeah.
And now they have the cover of Elon and Trump aren't like cuddling anymore, so they don't have that protection. And so now I'm sure all the advertisers are cutting their advertising. It's not effective. A Nazi porn bar is not a place to be advertising in, I feel. That's my
wow. Just the things that you say. I wish
that
I could.
It is Nazi. It's a Nazi. Like now, it's not just a maybe Nazi; it's a full-on Nazi, and it calls himself a Nazi. So I'm going with Nazi, and the porn stuff. Just go on there any given day.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's filled with porn. I don't have it. I don't have an X account. Let me ask you.
It's interesting. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know why that is. Anyway.
This is how Kara and I talk. But anyways, Kara, how much did Trump have anything to do with this? Do you think Trump said you need to resign or no?
No, I don't think she's close to him that way. I think she's got to see. The two writing on the wall is, one, she's more of a Trumper than an Elon, although she did have great regard for Elon. But if you had to pick and choose, you pick Trump. I mean, there can be only one. And the second thing is the advertising was going to fall off now that he didn't have the protection of Trump. Same thing with Starlink, where they were shaking down countries to take Starlink. That's gone for him. Although they're raising money at $400 billion thing for that. He's in a very dicey position from a leverage point of view, given the Trump fight. So,
Linda Yaccarino's exit was months in the making, according to the Wall Street Journal. The ex-CEO stabilized the social media company's ad business, but contended with an erratic boss and pressure to move faster. Now, that's what the Wall Street Journal is reporting. There are others who are reporting not so much with stabilizing of the company's business. Okay, Oliver Darcy said that, and also Kara Swisher reporting that as well. Cara Swisher, here she is to break down Linda Yaccarino's exit. Remember, she joined us yesterday on the breaking news. She was on this program, and then she is reporting on it and on the Pivot podcast, and that will release tomorrow. Here's Kara Swisher.
Linda Yaccarino is stepping down as CEO of X after 2 years in the role. Yaccarino wrote in a post that she is immensely grateful Elon Musk entrusted her with the responsibility of protecting free speech, turning the company around and transforming X into an everything app, by the way, none of which happened. No reason was given for the departure, but the exit has reportedly been in the works for over a week. Both Scott and I thought it was inevitable since the day she took the job that she was a CEO in name only, a sino, I guess. I think you shouldn't work for Elon Musk in this regard. I mean, he's in charge the whole time. And I think one of the things about working for him is it's his company at all times. They hired Don Lemon, which was a Linda Yaccarino effort. And, you know, he was out when Elon didn't like an interview. All these claims of free speech, of course, are ridiculous when they're forcing advertisers to advertise. They are using the threat of lawsuits and also platforming a bunch of really heinous people, and at the same time cutting people they don't like. So this isn't exactly a free speech platform. It's a free speech for Nazis. So good job, Linda. Tune in on Friday to hear me and Scott's full discussion about the exit. We're going to enjoy this one.
Yeah. Yes. So that's going to air tomorrow. Now, I want to play something for you because I actually went out on the streets. This was so interesting to me. I went out on the streets, let's see, yesterday, and I talked to people about it. And there's this one guy. I'm going to send it to you, Andy, and you can pull it up, please.
Hey,
you know what Grok is?
No, what's a Grok?
Grok is like Twitter's AI.
Okay, but we don't like Twitter, right?
You don't? Why?
Oh, because who's in it? Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, guys. But are you guys the AI people?
We're not the AI people. We're just asking you questions. So Grok went all racist and called itself Mecha Hitler.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think they had to take it offline a little bit, but he was reprogrammed, and Grok came back kind of racist.
That doesn't surprise me.
Why not?
Because it's Elon Musk.
Do you think he was programming it?
I'm sure, well, he was the one paying for it. Ooh. Wake it up. Wake it up. Wake it up.
What does that mean?
Let's wake it up. Let's start it. Let's start it.
Is that like being woke?
We're not a fan. We're not a fan, guys. I don't use Twitter. But follow me on Instagram, uniel.rod.
I love New Yorkers. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.